Yes, hello viewers, welcome again to this wonderful tutorial. Today we want to focus on enterprise module, which is also one of the HQ modules within the Positive ERP made by the Aspire Software Limited. Thank you. As usual, you can see this is the interface. This is how the enterprise module will look like. And as usual, somebody will log in with his password. Just log in like that with your password. So once you've logged in with your password, let me enlarge it. So once you've logged in with your password, you can see the interface is more or less the same like other modules. If maybe you saw our back office presentation and the rest. So the interface is more or less of the same. So likewise here, you can go here, being it's an HQ module, this is where you do the setup. You can still also do setups from here. You can still do setups from there, and just like the way I took you through the Smart Manager and the HR, how to do the setup. So this is how you will do the setup. So you can see it is the same interface. It's the same interface, like including like for the branch information or company information. This is where you can input all your company information. And then of course here, this is where you can set your branches and your headquarters. So if you have more than one branch license key or more than one warehouse key, they will all appear here. And of course with the setup of the servers and the informations of your branches. So all this is actually indicated, and you realize that the cash accounts codes are actually the same like what we saw in the SmartMan. Please, you can refer, you can check on the link down there that you can see all these accounts are the same because they operate in the same server, and this one it is believed to be in the same HQ. It says they are all HQ modules, so they have almost the same details. So likewise, also including like branch warehouse informations. This is what we've seen here. And then of course, if you want to input the names of people that want to use the system. So this is what you do. Like definitely, like we said earlier, you just go to new, type the name here, name of a person, and then you indicate their password. You put a password, you give them a password, and then from there you show, this is where it is actually comparison. You have to indicate the expiry, password expires after every 30 days. So you have to indicate there. Okay, it can be 30 days, which is the maximum. We recommend 30 days maximum, but you can even put 15 days. That is now depends with the policies and how the directors will see it. Okay, so likewise also when you do operations, this is where also you indicate rights. And as we said, the rights, you can just select the name and then you put a tick in areas where you want this person to operate. And after you've put a tick, then you do what? You update. You actually do the updates there. So that is how you issue rights. You can issue rights like now this one. These are rights pertaining to the branch and the headquarter. There are also back office rights, which are these ones. So here you can also select the back office rights. If it is front office or POS, what kind of things that you want this person to operate in the POS, then you put a tick, and then after putting a tick, you update there. So this is where you input all the rights, and this is something that you need to make serious analysis before you issue rights to people, because you can see it is much detailed and it is very, very much demanding. Okay, so you have to input things and make sure you know what you are giving to people and what you need to keep for yourself. And most of it you can be advised by one of our technicians who will be rolling out the system. If suppose maybe you'll want to roll out the system, we have technicians who will actually advise you on what you need to do. So of course, likewise also with the HQ is also the same. You indicate like if you want to give rights for enterprise, okay, those rights are supposed to be there. If you want to issue rights to do with accounting, also this is where you issue rights to do with accounting. Likewise also with the HR, this is where you give right to do with the HR, and likewise also with the Smart Manager. So these issues to do with the rights, that is how you handle it. Including even accounts rights, like there are some other chart of accounts or nominal accounts that you're supposed to issue to different people. Likewise also to banks, you can define who is supposed to access which bank and who is not supposed to access which bank. So even including the creditors accounts, who is supposed to deal with a certain supplier and who is not supposed to deal with with a certain supplier. Okay, so this is how you can define the operations of different people, including even the customers or debtors. This is how you can define who is to deal with which data and who is not supposed to deal with this data. So this one mostly also applies to in case of salesmen. There are some salesmen who know a particular customer. So those are the ones you can give them rights to those particular customers. But there are those who are not known to specific salesmen in your company. So you issue rights pertaining to how conversant each person is. So of course, with the branch, including the HR, first thing, the HR is supposed to have rights of all the branches. So he has to be given rights here. And then of course, after that, he has to be given rights to specific staff. So like all the staffs, he has to be able to access them. So there are two rights here, there are staff rights and the branch access rights of the HR. So here you just come and then you select all. If the HR is supposed to access all the branches, so you just select all and you give him those rights there. Likewise also to the assets. Okay, different assets are given rights. So you can give rights, you can either give them all, especially for example, you select a name here and then you give those rights. You can either give all or maybe you just select a few. By when I remove ticks there, it means I'm denying him rights, her rights, yeah. This one I'm denying Wambui rights. If I take off these ticks, then Wambui will not have the rights of all this. But if I give out these ticks, it means I'm giving her rights to access all these people. Then I just update there. So once I've done the update, then Wambui will be able to access all these people. So you can see up here, selected is 8 of 8. So she has all the rights in the assets area. So including also these other future rights, like we indicated, like you can put a limit of the number of invoice value that one is supposed to raise, and even the credit note value one is supposed to raise. Maybe you can say I'm giving a limit of, let's say, 2 million, so that the credit notes raised up to 2 million by this staff. Okay, credit note raised by this staff, then I just update there. So if Wambui raises credit notes above 2 million, then the system will deny unless this value or this limit is adjusted for her. So she cannot raise credit note of above the value of 2 million. So that is how you indicate or you put controls there, so that nobody can just not do. And then including all this that we had explained earlier, you can give all these limits, and there are some things you can put like this GL. You'll say you need to know auto add new general ledger and all that stuff. You can put there so that you activate. You can just put one and then you update. So once you put one, you update, then that one will be activated. And then of course there are these pay queues, which we will discuss them when we deal with the accounting module. So there are all different kinds of rights that you're supposed to give, so that you ensure the smooth workflow is done properly and everybody actually does and performs his duty without any hassle. So this is in a nutshell is how, this is where you come when you want to define who is supposed to do what and who is not supposed to do what. Now, like the cloning here, it's also the same. Like we had discussed, cloning, it is there that you can choose the rights. Maybe if you want to give admin rights to a specific person here, so I can select this guy. Then when I do start here, it means all the rights that the admin has will be given to this person. So you are only cloning the rights of admin to different individuals. So this one is designed to save you time, to save you hassle of maybe searching each and every individual and select which right to give them and all that. So you simply just clone the rights of people to other people. So this is how you do all the rights and all that stuff. Now let's come. This is where now, initially, if you discover that in one of our presentations, we spoke of IBIs, or internal branch invoices. So the internal branch invoices are simply documents that are there to certify that stock is moving from point A to point B, especially more so. It's from the headquarter to the branch level. So like right now, I can select, if I want to do an IBI, first of all, I have to select from which warehouse. If it is the headquarter, then I select the car, number plate of a car, then this is the car that will, and then to which branch. So this, once I've selected that, then this is where the stock is supposed to move. So if I want to create an IBI, I just say new, and then I say new. Then from here I will say supplied to branch. So that is where I will say supply to branch, and then I will start indicating the items that I want them to be supplied to branch. I can either put code-wise. Let me say I'm doing this 100. Okay. Then I can either even select via searching. So I will say maybe I need sugar 50 kg or 500 kg, 50 kg there. Okay, so 50 kg there. Then I will say how many kg. I will say 5. So selling item will result in negative stock, or item currently has negative stock, which means I have not done a GRN for this item, so it is not on stock. And you can see here stock position is negative 650, which means I've been selling on negative. Okay, so let me just select another product. So let's say I'll select that, and then I will say 500. Okay, so you can see stock position here is 350 pieces. So our stock is good. So I will say the items is already invoiced. In this invoice, if you wish to remove the earlier entry first, okay, I had done the earlier IBI, so I can put another product. Okay, so I done another IBI, so let me say 100. But still you can overwrite. It doesn't mean that when it gives you that information you can't do anything. You can still overwrite, but overwriting, it means there that you still have, if you have the rights, you can do that. So you can see here now it says the selected item can conceive child items. Do you wish to invoice as a child items? Now this means that there are some of the products which are sold in dozen form. Okay, so there is the mother, which is in dozen. You'll find like pans. Yeah, those pans are actually in threesome, like in dozen form. So that is what they are called, mother. And then the child simply means if you want to sell them in pieces, each separate pieces in the branch. So when they reach at the branch, they will not be sold as dozens. They will be sold in pieces. So if you want them to be sold in child, that is in pieces, you say yes. But if you want them to be remained as dozen, you say no. So that is how now the system will query you first. And then if you say yes, like let me say yes, then you can see it has taken these two. We see there are two different items here, but now they are combined as dozens. They are sold as pieces, as child, not as dozens. Okay, then I will save here. Of course, so after saving that is how we do the internal branch invoice. Okay, that's how we do the internal branch invoice. So now this item has been is being taken to the branch. So from the HQ, this stock is on transit right now, because now it is on transit. Like when you come here now on transit, you will see the stock is here. This is what is being taken back, and this is what one of the products that I had raised some time back, and that's why it was asking me that this thing, it exists and all that. So these are some of the IBIs that are on transit being ferried or being transferred to that branch. You can even view one of the IBIs here. Let me just view this. So this is how the IBI will look like. This is the internal branch invoice number, and then it is being taken to the branch from this warehouse to this branch. And of course you can see the vehicle number there, and then you can see all the details that you will have set as per. And then these are the products. You can see these are the products, and then each of them we are taking them into pieces. It could be in cartons. They may be in cartons. They may be in different format. But when they are in the branch, the system itself breaks them for you in pieces, because the branch, normally most supermarkets, they sell in pieces. So the system itself, it will break for you in different pieces. So you can see there, it has taken who has prepared, or the document has been prepared by who. So that is how the IBI will look like. This is how the IBI will look like. Okay, That is how the IBI will look like. So when you look at this IBI, when you go back at the back office, you will find that those guys at the branch already, they will have these documents on transit already. They will also see exactly what you are seeing here. And this one I will show you when we will be doing the full flow of the entire system, so that you'll be able to see how the documents are flowing. So like here now you can see it is on transit, and then here you can see this is what we've raised, and you can see this box has not been checked yet. So when the branch will receive, it will automatically be checked here, and then whoever is at the HQ will know that the branch has received this stock. But if the branches will not have received the stock, then this thing will still be, the IBI will just hang in there. Until now, the guy at the HQ will be able to tell those guys or ask why they've not received the commodity. Okay, they've not received the goods that have been sent to them. So this is how you design, or this is how you raise an IBI, an IBI. Okay, so if you have rights, you can edit the IBI, and if you don't have the rights, you cannot do it. And then this one is just resyncing. Resyncing means you just resynchronize things so that the system can rearrange things the way they're supposed to do. And then there is deletion, and then here there is a stock reconciliation. Okay, you can reconcile stocks of HQ and the branch. So you can see here, like, the branch is Aura supermarket, and then we have HQ, the value of stock is 124,999.87. okay, so this is the value, and then it is querying the branch value. So if there is a difference, you are able to know the stock difference here, and then from there, guys at the HQ, you are able to query where this stock went. So that is when now the branch will be told to do what we call a Z report. So you can query from whatever period of time. Okay, you can query this stock from whatever period of time. Okay, you can query, like now you see now it has queried branch value, it is this, HQ, it is this, and then now difference is 99. So the branch has a difference, a variance of this. So this needs to be queried where it went, so that the branch can give accountability. How come this stock reconciliation is not balancing and all that? Why do we have a lot of variances? And of course there are so many, this one, because it's a demo version, it is understandable. There are so many other things that I was raising that were not actually in line with the protocols of operation. But now, as for you in your company, I know such like things will not happen. So this is how you can do stock reconciliation in your business. So of course that is how you do the internal branch invoicing of a branch. And then at the same time also, if you've sent stock, those stocks can also be returned back, and this is where you raise a credit note. So the credit note is to move stock, like raise from warehouse and then to where with this car and then to this branch. So you can do a credit note here, simply the same. You just do new, and then there is credit note A and then credit note B. So there is credit note A if there is price difference, but if there is credit note B if it is for stock difference. Okay, if there is any stock difference, that is when you raise credit note B. But if there is a price difference, then you can raise credit note A. It's simply just moving stock back or from branch back to the headquarters. Like you can see, a branch is Aura, credit note type. This I'm raising credit note B, and then this is actually a credit note to take stock back from raise branch credit note. So you are taking stock back to the headquarters from the branch. So you can say maybe here supplied, or maybe returned to HQ. Okay, and then you put the items here. Let's say those are the items. You can say how quantity is how much. Then you say here okay. Okay, so once you said okay, that is a credit note that has been, then when you save already it will also show here. Of course it will print some copies. So there is a branch copy, file copy, and original copy, something like that. And then one of the copies the driver will go with it, and then the other copy will remain at the branch. Okay, so here you can also view this credit note. So this is how the credit note will look like. This is how it will look like. So you can see this is how the file copy, this is the file copy, and then shows credit note raised by, and then returned to where. These are the details that I put, return to HQ and all that stuff. So this is how the credit note will look like. The credit note number, the vehicle that has, and then the branch, which, from branch, which, and all that stuff. So that is how the credit note will look like. Okay, so that is how you do raise a credit note, and that is how you can actually view the credit note. You can as well print it. You simply just click there, and then if you have right, somebody can be able to delete the credit note. But it is not advisable that credit notes should be deleted, or any document should be deleted within the premise. It is not advisable. Okay, now there is also the stock flow. This is where you can watch the stock flow. You simply select the department, and this is live. This is real time. You can check after every seconds. Yeah, the figures will be changing here. Okay, let me just backdate this and see if I had stock some time back. So like if I do that and then I refresh, so simply here I didn't have stock. Seems like I didn't have stock here. Let me select another product. Okay, this department. Let me see if I had stock some years back. Then if I do that, simply like I don't have also stock for this. Let me see if this one I had stock for it. This one also still I don't have stock. Let me see the product here. Let me see number 13. Simply like I don't have stock here. So otherwise what happens in a nutshell, the stocks will appear down here, and then you'll be seeing them blinking with their descriptions and their item codes. So it will show you the stock level at all capacity, so that as goods are being sold in branches and those that are being transferred from HQ, you are able to see the differences here. These are very nice dashboard, and you can also be able to export it to Excel. Okay, you're able to export it to Excel. So you can display quantity, or you can also display value. Okay, and those values you can either use the cost price or the selling price. So that one, it will depend. So if your company will normally, okay, it will depend on how you transfer your goods to the branch. Either is it by selling or the cost price. So this is just a dashboard that shows you the flow of stock of different branches. So, and then remember this is, you are in HQ. You are just in HQ. And then there is banking here. These are dashboard that you can be able to select different branches and see if at all they did any banking. So these are dashboard during the Z report. Once they do a close day and all that, everything comes to appear here. So you are able to follow up. For those who have not done close day, you are able to follow up with them in their branches and know the reason as to why they've not done any close day at that time. So this is just a dashboard to show you this is what this branch has performed, and this is how they did a sale. So you can see the branch banking listing with the Z filtered report, filtered wise. So this is just a report. If there could be data here, you'll be able to see the flow of everything here. Okay, so this is a dashboard for the banking. And then we also have another dashboard here for the HQ remittance. If there is any remittance that the HQ did to the branch, then you are able to see this, what the HQ, those remittances were done. Now, mostly these remittances are in terms of payments that were done from the HQ, but the money was collected at the branch. So in terms of like they are called PayQs. So that one we will discuss it in the accounting for those who will discuss it in the accounting, so that you see how the PDQs are, and then those PDQs, once they are raised, they come and reflect here. So you end up knowing which PDQ was raised for which branch and all that stuff. So this is what actually normally happens. So if there is some amounts you are able also to post, you can also post them here. If there are some amounts that were never captured, but you want to post them. So you can also be able to post them there. And then of course the gift vouchers. So this is where you monitor all the gift vouchers in the company centrally. So if a gift voucher was issued in a branch A or branch B, then you are able to see it here that this gift voucher was issued. And if it was utilized, you are also able to see the gift voucher number, where it was utilized and how it was utilized. So this is where you can monitor. And the issuance of gift vouchers, you issue them from here. So you can see here, this one is a reprint. This one you can print, and then if you want to block anything, you can do a blocking here, or you can unblock. So there is issued gift vouchers, there is pending. You can see there are a lot of pending gift vouchers here that are not yet utilized. Okay, and then you can see also the utilized gift vouchers if there be. So I don't have any utilized gift vouchers here. So there is only pending gift vouchers here. This is how they will appear. So let me just print it so that you see it. And of course you can select a branch here. Depends a branch, but now this one is all general. So this is how you can see gift vouchers pending. You can see, so it indicates even the names of the customers that were issued those gift vouchers. You are able to see, and then who issued those gift vouchers. You are able also to see the name of the cashier that issued the gift voucher, then from which till, and then the value of every gift voucher, and of course the name, and then the voucher number. Then this is the issue date. Okay, so this is just a list to show you those gift vouchers how they were issued and all that. So that is it on how to issue gift vouchers. Okay, so here you may have more than one branches, so you can select just a specific branch and see how many gift vouchers they've issued and which ones are pending, which one were utilized per branch. Here you can select branch wise. Okay, so this is just and the other one is just VAT certificates. So these are VAT certificates. It's also a dashboard that you can see the VAT certificates that were issued in different branches, and then you can also be able to print those VAT certificates and see. Okay, so this is let me see if there is data here. Fortunately there is no data. Let me just print. Okay, it's not printing because there is no data. It will not print. So that is how it has been designed. Okay, and then here you can also check the dashboard of expenses. So this is the dashboard of all the expenses you are able to check. You can select via warehouses, you can select via branch wise. Okay, and then be able to see their expenses. So you only select an expense nominal code here. Then let me see, just say expense. So you select which expense here. So you can select, maybe say packaging. So you can see if it is this expense, you are able also to check those expenses. You can forward, you can back, and then you can also forward here, or you can select them from here, maybe different wherever. So this is just a dashboard that will appear there, and then when you click here, those are different portions, and then here you can create all the nominals, or you can create the micro expenses that you want them to be added in your business. So this is where you create them. You indicate the number, and then you say the name, which type of expense, and then you put it, you assign it on a different nominal code within the system, and then you say okay. So that is how you create the micro expenses within the system. Okay, so this one also is a petty cash dashboard. So you can see this is the petty cash, so you can check per branch how their petty cash has been working out and how they've been utilizing their petty caches. So you can also be able to monitor branch wise here. And then of course their cash purchases, those cash purchases also you are able to see. These cash purchases are just like it's a dashboard anyway, just to show you the flow of cash, the way it has amount in, amount out, that is the flow of cash and all that stuff. So it's like a cash flow report, yeah? So you are able to see how the flow of cash is moving and all that. So this is just a dashboard. You can also be able to post, okay? You can post some of the monies that were not captured. Maybe it was done offline or something, so you are able to post it there so that you can see. You can see, let it open. I can see it opening. So I know now it's looking for a printer. So maybe it will take some time, a little bit. It's opening, yeah. Then while it's still opening, then we can come here to these schemes. So you are able to see the schemes here. So these schemes, they are also found in the back office. But now you are able to organize for those schemes centrally at the HQ level. So if you want to organize for those schemes, also you are able to do the organization of those schemes. And of course, finally, we have the reports. Don't know why it's not peaking. Let me just shut it now. So you can see it's peaking, but okay, so I'll just cancel it. Oh, the action cannot be completed. Some of them are restricted to printers. So okay, yeah, so that is bringing some incorrigible here. So that is what it is. So these schemes are just the same as the schemes or the marketing tools that you can use so that you can bring customers. Okay, these are just marketing tools that you can use to bring customers. And then finally, we have the reports. So we have the reports here. It has also 100+ reports that you can be able to check. And then finally, we have the calculator there. So in a nutshell, this is the enterprise module, and this is how the enterprise modules looks like. Unfortunately, this one is refusing to open. I don't know why. It's just giving me some indicators here, but it does not want to open. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is how the entire ERP is. The entire enterprise module is actually set. So that is how it is designed. So otherwise, thank you very much for watching the video, and please make sure you check out on our next tutorials. And there are some other videos that are related to the enterprise. They are also down there. The link is down there. Please, you can check on them. And also remember to check on the accounting module, so that you can see the relationship between the accounting module and the enterprise, how they work. Then finally, we will also organize on how you can see the entire flow of the system, from raising the product, from actually creating a product, to raising LPOs, and then from raising LPOs, receiving GRNs. After receiving GRNs, you do branch invoices, internal branch invoices. After doing internal branch invoices, you do an actual sale in the branch, and then from there we do a Z report. After doing a Z report, we do a close day. Then after doing a close day, what happens? We check the reports, the way they are actually being replicated in different formats of report, from our balance sheets, trial balances, P&Ls, and all that stuff, so that we are able to know how the system and all the modules, how they are interconnected. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you, and see you in the next video.